listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. I'm Nick, and with me as always is Anthony the Rook. TJ is not here tonight. It will just be
Just the two.
Yes.
for tonight. TJ's been busting his ass at work, and he tapped out for tonight. But we are also featuring our guy, our intern, Stat Guy Sal, who will be in the backgrounds for this episode of the Screen Addicts podcast. This time around, we're reviewing 2004 baseball movie Mr. 3000, starring the late Bernie Mac, Angela Bassett, Brian White, Paul Sorvino, and Chris Noth. Now, the reason we are reviewing this film is because the recent baseball discussions regarding the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown and its voting criteria. The premise of this movie is based on a fictional retired Milwaukee Brewer, Stan Ross, a.k.a. Mr. 3000, who's in his fourth year of eligibility for the Hall of Fame. As the Hall of Fame prepares for his inevitable enshrinement into its hallowed gates, the statisticians at the Hall come to the revelation that he did not actually get 3,000 hits, but 3 of his hits were counted twice erroneously, thereby nullifying his entire existence in baseball lore. Now, because the Hall of Fame allows the Baseball Writers Association of America to vote on who will be enshrined, and because Stan was rude to the media and not the best of teammates, his not having 3,000 hits seems to be blocking him from ever being inducted. Stan can't allow this and decides to return from retirement at the ripe old age of 47 to collect his 3 hits and hopefully his rightful place in both the Hall of Fame and baseball history. So, Anthony, what did you think of the movie?
This is actually the first time I've ever seen this movie. So it's actually
is it?
Yeah, it's the first time. I can't say the first time. I've seen parts of it. I never actually watched it fully. And I obviously know about it. I know like what happens and what the premise is. So I do love Bernie Mac. I mean, obviously, rest in peace, Bernie Mac. I mean, he's such a funny comedian. Some of the roles he's done. I mean, you've seen it. What was one of his last movies was like Bad Santa, I think. He was hilarious in that too. Just overall, just a great actor, great comedian. Definitely miss him.
He had a lot of range.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. I did enjoy this movie with him, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a funny movie. It's a fun movie. It's light. It's not heavy. It's joking, about the whole process of the Hall of Fame and the joke that we spent, last week talking about it. Last week, 2 weeks ago, maybe. Last week. It was last week. And then it's just so relevant right now because we're talking about Mr. 3000. Basically, I think you said it too before. Is basically Jeff Kent. I mean, Jeff Kent did his 9th year on the ballot, didn't get in, and we all know why. It's because he wasn't nice to the media, and it's still one of those.
He wasn't a good teammate either. He was a douchebag.
Yeah, he wasn't a good teammate either. I mean, basically, it's essentially just the story of Jeff Kent. Except I don't know if the Jeff Kent. I don't think he had 3,000 hits.
No, and he didn't quit when he was 32 years old.
Yeah,
or no, he was in Mr. 3000. He's
38.
He's got to be 38.
Yeah, and as we said before, Jeff Kent was the, best offensive player at his position at second base. So for him to not be in the Hall of Fame is kind of where you look at this, where, Stan Ross in the movie had 3,000 hits, which usually it's just a shoo-in. I mean, at the time of the movie,
hits, 500 home runs, 300 wins.
Yeah, 3,000 hits. And I think at the time of the movie, I think they said he was supposed to be the 21st player. I think now it's a little more because Jeter and I think Paul Holtzman joined. But yeah, it's
and A-Rod.
funny. And it's how often many people, A-Rod, and how many people have played baseball throughout the history of over 100 years. And then here's Miss Stan Ross who gets a 3,000 hit, and he knew it too in the beginning of the movie. When it does happen, he has that ball, and he's like, "This is my key. This is my way to get in the Hall of Fame." Like, it doesn't matter what any of you guys say. I had 3,000 hits, and obviously, despite that, he still wasn't getting in. I do love when after the whole 3,000 hit scene, they show him at the 3000 Plaza, which he owns.
And everything becomes 2,999. Spoiler alert.
Yes, spoiler at the end. Yeah, but I like it. It reminded me of those old school commercials that used to be on the S Network, where like the guy would be dancing around like the furniture store and stuff. Like it
reminds me of the what's that joke? Jones barbecue and foot massage.
Yes, that's
Jones barbecue and foot massage.
But there actually was a commercial like that it was a mattress store in the Bronx, and used to always play during Yankee games, and it was hilarious. It was about like come down to our mattress store, and the guy was like rapping and stuff. It was great. But that's what it reminded me of.
Where's Roscoe?
Yeah, yeah. What is that? Empire, or something like that. Yeah,
it's the dog that sniffs out bugs.
Yeah, it's just the bed sniffing dog. Where's don't they ask Roscoe?
But some interesting things that I noticed about the movie. So the second baseman and the shortstop, Skillet and Minadeo, they remind me of Jackson and Spots. If you've ever seen Down Periscope, Jackson, you've never seen Down Periscope's a great movie starring Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah,
and there's a black guy and a white guy that are the drivers of the submarine, and they're continuously bickering and betting and gambling on everything, all the time. But they're friends, but they treat each other like shit through the entire movie. And that just reminded me of Minadeo and Skillet, about how they've always got like a friendly competition going on, but clearly they're best friends.
Oh yeah. I mean, their chemistry is good too. And that's what's his name. He's he's in other sports movies. He's in the Benchwarmers. He's the guy that says I am 12.
He's in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. He's
in quite a few things.
Yeah, he's not a familiar face. Throughout this movie, there are familiar faces too.
I also thought that Skillet, who's played by Dondre Whitfield, I thought initially rewatching it for a split second, I thought it was Damon Wayans Jr.
Yeah, I thought for a second too. I thought he was one of the Wayans brothers.
And he's not. He's not related to them at all.
But another familiar face in this one was Anthony Boca Carter, he played Jackie Aprile in the Sopranos. I mean, I like his character in this movie. I like in the beginning he has like the mullet, and then obviously they fast forward to the future. He doesn't the mullet anymore, but
he's got the who is the pitcher that had
he looked like Kenny Powers.
No, I meant like a real pitcher.
Oh, I forgot the guy's name, but there was a
closer for the Phillies.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Or even John Crook. John Crook had a mullet back.
John Crook had a mullet. Yeah. Famous mullets. Let's see.
But I also thought that T-Rex Pennebaker looks like a jacked up Mookie Betts.
Yeah, and he's from a lot of movies too. He's a pretty well-known actor.
Stomp the Yard.
Yeah, he is. I think I did see that. I was looking up where everyone's from, and obviously Angela Bassett has.
That's Brian White plays T-Rex Pennebaker. I thought he did a great job as T-Rex, young kid, full of talent. On a crap team, and that's kind of how it is. I mean, that's how people get.
Especially like a small market,
trying to show him the era of Stan's ways.
Yeah,
except Stan
small market Milwaukee. They base it on, and it's funny because Stan Ross was on that team all those years, never made playoffs. I guess it seemed like.
No, he won the World Series. What are you talking about?
Wait, he won the World Series?
Yeah,
I don't remember that part.
So he retired in 1990. So the movie takes place when he gets his 3,000th hit in 1995. If he's 38 in 1995,
you're saying.
Then if he played 15 years, then he played in 1980. They won the World Series in 1983.
Yeah. I you know what it is? I'm looking at the timeline of where we are now, and I watched it, and I probably shouldn't have done
that. He has his World Series ring on at one point during the movie.
I don't know why I didn't recognize it. Like I said, I honestly watched the films my first time watching it. Had a little distraction every now and then, so it might have been one of the key points that I missed. But
some of the things that I did enjoy in the beginning when he does his when they're retiring his number.
Yes.
When they go, we got Boca here for you. You got Tony here. Tony Carter is his name. And Big Horse Borelli. And he goes, what happened to Paul Molitor, Robin Yount? And they're they said no thanks. I like that he actually mentions like some real brewers that are like Hall of Fame brewers.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, fuck you.
Well, I like that part too, because they bring this guy and he's like, did I ever play with him? And that's the only person that said they would come. and he only played like a couple innings, like as a relief pitcher with him in his rookie
when he was a
year.
rookie
When he was a rookie, yeah.
in '79 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, which brings you to the point with the that he was around back in the 80s. Yeah, like he played with you your rookie year. And then Boca, when he does his speech there, that made me laugh too. And he's just like, he hits.
He hit that
like,
ball.
Hit the ball.
And I loved him for it.
Yep. And he sits right down. And Bernie Mac's just like,
he's like, say it, baby. Say it.
Like, this is gonna be
I want to have a relation. I feel like the three of us have that relationship that Boca has with Dan
Ross, yeah.
And honestly, like the part where he goes at the end, Mo's already left him. His team hates him, and he looks at Boca and goes, "You want to marry me? You want to get married?" And he goes, "What?" He goes, "Come on, man. You're the only one that loves me." And he goes, "You know, I'm waiting 15 years for you to ask me. Now that you have, I don't know."
Yeah, they have a good relationship. They have a good back and forth. That's definitely like one of the parts that I enjoyed of the movie. Trying to remember other funny parts. I like the training montage. I thought that was pretty good. With
the Macho Man. No, it's YMCA. It's YMCA.
Yeah, the YMCA is playing, and he's doing the soul cycle, cycle class.
10 push-ups.
Yeah, he couldn't do the 10 push-ups. That's a girl push-up. Did my knees touch? Boca, my knees touch.
Somebody say that girls push-up don't count? Nobody said that girls push-ups don't count.
Yeah, exactly. Try to be
the funny part to me that I really enjoyed is Stan and Skillet teaching Fakura how to curse, or Fukuda how to curse, and he's going, "Son of a bitch." After the game, we pick up some biatches. Kiss my black ass. Whoa, now. Don't get personal. I didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean it. Don't say that, though.
yeah, that's another good part, too, with the
and the funny part is that I can't remember his name. His name is something Dale something. That actor is not foreign at all. The actor that plays Fukuda is not foreign. He's American. Ian Anthony Dale.
Yes. Yeah, that's his name.
Is his name. But you're right. He is in The Hangover. And he may not have been in the recent Mortal Kombat movie. I thought he was, but he may not have been. He was in a short series of Mortal Kombat. It was called, it was like an online series. It was called Mortal Kombat Legacy, and he plays Scorpion in that.
Oh, and then he was also in Hawaii 5-0.
He was.
That's what he was in.
That is accurate. Also, Cheddar Bob is in this movie.
Yes, that was actually one of the points I actually did write down. I was looking about to look at my notes. Yeah, Cheddar Bob. So shoot yourself, Cheddar Bob.
And he's like the voice of reason.
Yeah, he is.
Bunch of little leaguers.
And here's one of the fun facts I looked up on the on IMDb was do you know who plays the sausage mascot?
It's Dane Cook.
Dane Cook plays the sausage mascot. Obviously, never really seen
anything that credit. Dane Cook's a huge baseball fan. He's a Red Sox fan, though.
You
know who else is in this movie?
Who?
Buster Posey plays an Astros player at the end.
I did see that he was in high school at the time. He's 17 years old, and he was in this movie. So yeah, it's a lot of cool cameos.
Florida State.
Do you have a list of other cameos?
Yeah, a bunch of cameos in this movie. So obviously, because it's a sports movie, there's a lot of ESPN going on. There's a lot of Fox Sports going on. So some of the cameos we have are from the Best Damn Sports Show period. John Sally and Tom Arnold, which Tom Arnold has a great back and forth with Bernie Mac, where Bernie Mac says something like, Tom, you wouldn't even be sitting there right now if Roseanne didn't make you famous. And Tom says something along the lines of like, I'd be offended if it weren't true.
Yeah. I wonder if that was improv. Do you think that was improv?
I hope it was, because that was so funny.
That was. I actually kind of forgot about that scene, but yeah, the Best Damn Sports Show.
Ron Darling from the Mets makes a cameo.
Yes.
Larry King, rest in peace. He makes a cameo on Larry King Live. Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser from Pardon the Interruption are they're in there. Stuart Scott, rest in peace, is in the movie.
The late great Stuart
Jay Leno. So Jay Leno's in it. Chris Rose.
Yeah.
Peter Gammons. Dick Enberg. Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah, as a reporter.
In the very beginning, Stan's taking BP, and he's a reporter asking Stan questions. Obviously, Dane Cook is in it, and Carmen Electra makes a cameo on the Jay Leno show.
Right.
And back when she was still married to Dave Navarro.
Okay.
And Jay Leno picks up the phone. Stan says something to her like flirtatiously, and Jay Leno picks up the phone and goes, "Dave, there's a large black man hitting on your wife." But yeah, they all make cameos in this movie. I this is a redemption story ultimately, right?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I mean, it truly is. I mean, at the end of it, obviously, he kind of turns around. He tries to teach T-Rex, that it's not all about individual here. It's be more of a teammate, and kind of just let him teach him from his own mistakes. Move from there, and that whole part about when they finally bench him because they're all. Well, I guess they benched him because they're going on the away, I guess the visitor, the trip, whatever. They're going to be away for a while.
They don't want to waste the hit on an away crowd.
Exactly. And they want it to be done at home, which then, obviously gives him less chances. So I think that's kind of where it kind of falls apart again towards where he gets kind of a little upset about it, I guess.
No, he starts getting he starts drinking his own Kool-Aid again.
What do you mean?
That's when everybody starts calling him to be on TV shows and all that. Now he's important.
Yeah, and that's where it kind of falls apart because everyone was thinking that he was turning that corner, being better, and then he kind of goes back to going on these TV shows talking about the situation, and then finally at the end he's got to once again redeem himself, which I guess we'll just go into the ending now here, but he has an opportunity to get the 3,000th hit. But he, decides to give a sacrifice bunt, so they get third place, and they win the game. But my question for you, Nick, is: it's not a playoff on the line; it's just third place. Would you have bunted, or would you have swung to get the 3,000 hit?
That's a great question. I really want to say that I would have went for the 3,000th hit.
I would 100% have gone for it,
but I really honestly don't think I would have.
I think I would have. It's third place. You're still not making the playoffs.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying is it just to me for who I am as a person, I made the promise to somebody. I motivated somebody. I tried to get somebody to do it. For me to do something selfish after trying to tell everybody else to be so selfless, yeah. Me personally, I just couldn't do it. I don't know. I feel like I would have been like. Although knowing my skill set, I probably wouldn't have been able to lay down the bunt. So
yeah,
but if I was Stan Ross, I would have laid down the bunt.
Yeah, I mean it is a good. That's like what completes the redemption story. Obviously, at that point was that he has that
to the Hall of Fame.
And then eventually gets him to Hall of Fame because they obviously turn the corner there, and everyone sees that he is not just this selfish player. And then obviously the course of the 1 month that he's with them because they brought him up in September. But being a good teammate, seeing him improve as a person, not being as cocky, he kind of, ate some humble pie there, during this process, and then eventually leads to him finally getting into the Hall of Fame as Mr. 2,999 hits.
Yeah. I like the Ross bar. I would buy that candy bar. I would
go to the bar, just the bar that he's at, hang out with him. And
that's a nice bar, man.
It is a nice bar.
That was a really nice bar. The whole part with the beer bottle I thought was cool.
Yeah, in the beginning with the trying to tell out the 10th of a second if he could catch it.
Yeah.
If he still has the reflexes to do it. But I would just go to the bar, just hang out with Boca. Boca just seems like a cool dude.
Doesn't he? Good old Jackie Aprile. Seems just like a nice guy, I'm just saying. I love the story that he tells. So I look at Boca, and I know Boca's looking at me. And I know Boca's thinking what I'm thinking. So I know that Boca's going to lay one down. We're going to suicide squeeze. So I start getting down the line. Boca takes a full hack. Boom, the ball goes by my head. And I'm thinking, what was Boca thinking? And Boca goes, I wasn't thinking.
Yeah, like I said, they have a really good relationship. What about the love story of this between him and Mo, who's played by Angela Bassett? I guess they had like that previous history too.
I want to know what the hell happened in Toronto.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I was waiting for them to explain that. I feel like they just glossed over it.
Hey, what about that? My favorite part with their relationship is I'll pay for it. Where he's begging her for sex and goes, "I'll pay for it."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of good lines. Bernie Mac is, like I said, Bernie Mac's great in this movie. And speaking of which, I know usually we like to do this when we go back. We review these movies is to see who may have been casted. And I think what happened was John Travolta was originally offered the role of Mr. 3000, but he was doing, I just read this before. John Travolta was supposed to be Mr. 3000, but he was too busy doing promotional stuff for Qantas Airwaves. So he decided not to do the movie. And I guess I went to Bernie Mac. I'm glad too, because I don't think it's as good of a movie. It's not funny either.
I think Bernie Mac for me was a combination of like Barry Bonds, Tony Gwynn, and like Ricky Henderson and Jeff Kent, just kind of all slapped into one person.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought the way he swung the bat, I thought at first when I was watching him, like, it doesn't look that natural of a baseball player. But then I realized he kind of had like a Tony Gwynn type of swing to it.
I was watching that swing and I was like, he kind of looks like Tony, like kind of hunched over. Tony Gwynn looked very slappy. And
yeah, exactly.
At one point, he says he swings at 34, which is actually really small for a baseball player, professional.
Yeah, I thought
I swing at 34.
I was like, 34 seems light.
This is a 34.
Yeah.
And I am obviously not a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Professionals usually swing around what T-Rex swings at 36. But Tony Gwynn swung a 30, actually a 29 and a half.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, he had like that slap because Tony Gwynn was just a great hitter.
Rod Carew also swung a very short bat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then trying to think from there with I
could have gotten some more major leaguers in it to play very minor roles. We were talking about it earlier. I think that Big Horse Borelli could have been played by a baseball player. John Kruk could have played Big Horse Borelli, or they could have got Roger Clemens to go in there and play Big Horse Borelli. Or I mean, I don't know. There's a million guys that could have went in there to pretend to be this fictional character, and they could have got a former major leaguer to play it. Even the guy that plays Blackout Gatling from Little Big League, he could have played Big Horse Borelli,
and he was a former minor leaguer.
Right, so I think they should have got somebody different to play that, and I also think they should have changed Boca's last name.
I agree with that too. It should have been he should have been Borelli, Anthony Borelli.
Yeah, he could have been Anthony Borelli, and then he's Boca Borelli.
Yeah, Boca Borelli,
as opposed to being Boca Carter, which I'm like, there's no way in hell that guy's last name is Carter.
Carter, yeah. But the other thing I was thinking of before when I was stuttering over there, but was the one detail was what number does Stan Ross wear?
21.
Who is also Roberto Clemente's number, who also was the last player to end on 3,000 exactly.
I was actually thinking that he's the only player in the history of baseball to end his career with exactly 3,000 hits.
And obviously it was an unfortunate reason why Roberto Clemente ended it, but he was Mr. 3,000 was ending it because he was like, I got my 3,000 and I'm done. And he quit the middle of the season.
Speaking of fun facts, Stan gets that 3,000th hit in Miller Field, except that the Brewers didn't play at Miller Field in 1995.
Yeah, they didn't.
Because Miller Field wasn't erected until like 2000.
Yeah.
They played at County Stadium in 1995.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
Another fun fact was Stan says he was inducted on the next ballot, but that's not possible because once he came out of retirement, he'd have to wait 5 years to become eligible for the Hall of Fame again.
Yeah, he would have had to wait another 5 years to get eligible again. So,
and then ironically enough, Stan's Hall of Fame plaque is actually in the Baseball Hall of Fame in the movie section, along with the Rockford Peach uniform and the Field of Dreams marquee, as well as a plethora of other movie, props that were in the movie. I think Wonder Boy is also in there from The Natural. Yeah. But his plaque is in the Hall of Fame. I actually took a picture of it last time I was there.
And I was looking up images about the movie. I wanted to, because we have access, able to put images up here. I was going to pull up his baseball card, but the movie was from so long ago that all the, the resolutions were so like horribly outdated because from 2004. Anytime I tried to upload it, it was all grainy and you couldn't read anything. But I was looking through his stats and I think he barely hit over 300 home runs in it. It's really hard to read because the image is just so old.
Total home runs, he hit 312.
312. Yep, that's what I said. Right, just over 300. And then I think RBIs using 2,000. No,
RBI, he's in 1,608.
1,600. So, not
But he
bad.
batted 314 for his career.
Yep, 314 for his goals. I say he batted over 300. But yeah, I mean, it's funny they have a Stan Ross card and they give his all his stats and everything. I think there's a 299, 2,999 with batting over 300 for his average of his career. That might have gone down though for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just because of reporters. I mean, it's not legitimate. It's not and that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, A-Rod's got over 3,000 hits. He probably won't get into the Hall of Fame.
No, he almost had 700 home runs too. He threw. I said
is the record holder for home runs,
and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He's not getting into the Hall of Fame today.
I was gonna say I would love to see a Mr. 700 movie about A-Rod coming back. But not a movie. I want to see it in real life. Like have him come back, hit those last 3 home runs. I think he's at 697. Have him come back, hit 3 home runs. Put like the Marlins or something. Just some really bad baseball team for the month of September. See if he could crank 3 more dingers out. I think he could do it. He's still in good shape.
I was actually just thinking about that. Stan Ross came out of A-Rod. Sal says that A-Rod's at 696, so he needs 4 home runs.
So it's 4 away. Close enough.
I was thinking about this, and I posted it on Twitter the other day. With Stan Ross coming out of retirement, that reset his clock to get back into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. I was wondering if Clemens and Bonds could do that. Just come back for one day, get one at bat or throw one pitch or whatever the case might be, feign an injury, come out of the game, retire after the game. They're back on the ballot.
I think because they already did the 10 years, I think they're done.
I feel like that's not possible. Well, I mean, is there a rule that they can't? I mean, there might be a rule that they can't go back on the Hall of Fame ballot, but can't be a rule that they can't come back and play baseball.
No, I think they could, but then they're not going to be on the Hall of Fame ballot anyway. So,
that's an interesting loophole, and maybe somebody needs to explore. If only I knew a lawyer.
A-Rod should do it.
He doesn't need to right now. He's got like another 9 years left on the ballot.
No, I'm saying like in a couple of years from now, just come back, hit the 4 home runs, and then restart it.
What if he's been by then?
I don't know. Just do it.
But
I want to have 700 home runs. Come on, A-Rod. Please, I'm begging you.
So all that being said about Stan Ross, the boss, he paid the cost because he's Stan Ross. What'd you think of the movie? Give me your rating.
My rating's going to be, I'm not going to go as high as I've done other movies. I'm going to give it a 2 because, it is funny. It's good, Bernie Mac, but ultimately, like, I didn't really, I guess, I don't know. I didn't really feel as much towards the actual making of the movie or like the actual production, I guess. Like the whole storyline with the what's that?
Because it didn't make you cry?
No. I meant like, because the whole, like, the thing before, I was like, whatever happened in Toronto, like, never explained what happened in Toronto. It's said, but like, I always hate that, like, there's like a plot hole there, and then
I like the ending where there's a dig at Rafael Palmeiro.
Yeah, there is.
A Viagra commercial.
Yeah. Oh, I also liked when he did the ad that was like the Charles Barkley ad. That was like I'm a role model in the beginning.
Yeah, it's you don't like me because I do, but you love me because I'm one of the greatest hitters alive.
Exactly.
Reebok,
I love that one.
Reebok commercial.
That is a good commercial. That's like the Charles Barkley I'm not a role model commercial. But yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5. I just didn't really. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I guess I could say.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna give it a 3 because it just tells all of the reporters that they suck dicks and balls, and I couldn't concur any more than that. Like the premise of the movie is about how the Baseball Writers Association of America is a friggin' joke. So I love anything that takes the reporters down a notch.
Yeah, that's true. I do love that part of it, definitely.
But unless you got anything else to add, I think that's what we got for Mr.
Everything.
3000.
Yep, that's everything.
So that was our review of 2004 movie Mr. 3000, starring Bernie Mac, Angela Bassett, Brian White, Paul Sorvino, and Chris Noth. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, and we'll see you next time.
Stay rock.